Hello, welcome to Papa Nick's Music. I am, as always, your host, Papa Nick Lewis, and today we are talking about Alice Cooper. I've always liked Alice Cooper. I think he's a highly underrated songwriter, a highly underrated lyricist. And he's just an entertaining guy. I mean, I've seen him in concert a couple of times, and he always puts on a good show. I think that a lot of people dismiss his music because of the Halloween, dead baby aspect to it, and I understand that. But there's a lot of good music in Alice Cooper's canon. So we're going to celebrate that today. We are going to do a top 10, my 10 favorite Alice Cooper albums. Since this is a top 10, Papa Nick's Music's top 10 series is unofficially sponsored by Schoefferhofer Grapefruit Beer. That's good beer. Okay, before we get into the top 10, subjectivity notice. Artistic appreciation is, by nature, by its very essence, it is a subjective thing. It is not objective. There's no such thing as objectively good or objectively bad music. There is only music that I like and music that I don't. And as long as we keep that in mind, this is a wonderful conversation. It only goes off the rails when somebody in the conversation starts insisting on being right. So let's not do that. I'm not saying that these are objectively the 10 best albums that Alice Cooper that Alice Cooper recorded. Sorry about that. I'm just saying these are my 10 favorites. Okay? Okay, cool. Now, before we get into our top 10, we do have to distinguish between Alice Cooper the band and Alice Cooper the singer. Alice Cooper the band predated Alice Cooper the singer, I'm pretty sure. I think that Vince changed his name to Alice after the band started up. For our purposes today, it doesn't really matter that much. But know that Alice Cooper, for the first chunk of their recording career, referred to the entire band, not just the front man. It is also worth noting, before I get into this, for those of you who are staunch Alice Cooper fans, I tend to be more of a fan of the solo work than the band work. So just putting that out there, just so you know. So as I go through, I'll be pointing out if it's band or solo for those of you who are not sure. Coming in at number 10, we've got The Last Band Work. I'm using the CD booklets because I don't have this one on vinyl. Alice Cooper, Muscle of Love from 1973. There are a couple of decent songs on here. The title track, Muscle of Love, is good. Teenage Lament is good. The main reason why I've got this on here is that this album has a weird history. I have a weird history with this album. I was, in high school when I started listening to Alice Cooper. This thing came out when I was still fairly young. I mean, it came out in '73, so I was 10 years old at the time. But I was a fairly big fan of Alice in the later '70s when I was in high school. And at one point, I don't know how, but at one point I had a tape of Muscle of Love, and I don't know where it came from because I did not buy it. It just showed up in my car. Somebody must have left it, but nobody ever contacted me and said, "Hey, have you got my copy of Muscle of Love?" So I finally bought this just because I wanted to have a copy of it. But for the longest time, I had a copy of Muscle of Love that I never bought. It just it materialized, and so fate tells me that it needs to be in my top 10. So it's coming in at number 10, 1973's Muscle of Love. Okay, coming in at number 9, we've got one of his solo albums. I actually have it on vinyl, and that is Lacin' Whiskey. Sorry for the sticker on the edge. Lacin' Whiskey it's an okay album. It's not going to set the world on fire. It's not as good as the stuff I've got ranked ahead of it, obviously. But it's got a few good songs on it. It's got No More Love at Your Convenience, which I always liked. It's got the radio hit You and Me, which was a decent song. It's got Damned If You Do. So there's some good stuff on here. Number 9, Lacin' Whiskey. Put that over and hope it doesn't fall off that little table. Number 8. Okay, we're back to the band, and this is the one that broke them out. This is the one that made them at least moderately famous. It is Love It to Death from 1971, which had their first radio hit, I'm 18. It's also got Is It My Body, which is a good song, Ballad of Dwight Fry. So there's good stuff on here. 1971's Love It to Death. Many people, I think, who are, really staunch fans of Alice will put this higher than number 8. I came at this way late. I was in college before I ever had a copy of this thing. So it didn't latch on to me in my formative years the way it did, the way most of the rest of these did. So that's why it's coming in a little bit lower in the top 10 than I think most people would put it. But still, good album. Number 8, Love It to Death. Okay. Number 7. Interestingly enough, Love It to Death came out in 1971. Well, so did Killer. This is the Alice Cooper Band. It's 1971. We've got some good stuff on here. Under My Wheels. I like Under My Wheels. Be My Lover. Desperado. There's some good stuff on Killer. This is a strong album. If I'm giving these the letter grades that I normally do in when I'm doing album rankings, we're up in A territory. This is a A to A minus album. Killer, good album. Okay, number 6, The Dark Horse. This is the thing that I think is going to surprise most Alice fans. Number 6, I have from 1983, Dada. I like this album. I liked it when it came out, and I still like it today. I love the cover art. I even love the artwork on the back. Seriously, I love this album. Enough's Enough is good. No Man's Land is good. Dyslexia. Is Dislove or is Dyslexia? You gotta love wordplay like that. I Love America has a fantastic sense of humor to it. I gather from the reading that I've done about Alice that he was largely inebriated during the recording of this album, enough that he doesn't have much in the way of memory of it, which is a shame because good album. I like Dada. Okay, now that we're in our top 5, we are in solid A's to A pluses. These are all fantastic albums, strongly recommended. Coming in at number 5, we have Alice's first solo album, Welcome to My Nightmare. I love this album. Many are the nights. Many were the nights, I guess, when I was in high school. When I would lie in bed, I've always wrestled with insomnia. So one of the things I like to do at night when, everybody in the house has already gone to bed, you can't very well just stay up because, So when I was a kid, I would lay in bed and listen to music on headphones for 2-3 hours before I could go to sleep. And I used to listen to this thing just on a loop. I love Welcome to My Nightmare. Love the title track. Love songs like Some Folks. Department of Youth is catchy. Escape is fantastic. But there is a 3-song chunk on side 2, Years Ago, Stephen and the Awakening, that to this day gives me goosebumps when I listen to it. It is so eerie. It is such well done, creepy, like Halloween music. Oh, I love it. Love Welcome to My Nightmare. Love this album. Coming in at number 4. This is the one that has changed the most. If I were doing this when I was, say, in college, just freshly out of college, in that neighborhood, I would have had this at number 1. For the longest time, this was my very favorite Alice Cooper album. As the years go by and I listen to more stuff and I gain a little bit of separation from the original, from my original sense of it, it has gone down a little bit. I still think it is a fantastic album. I think, in fact, it is a perfect album. We're perfect from here on out. I'm stopping short of saying Welcome to My Nightmare is perfect. But these are all, well, I'm going to qualify it. I don't know that this next one is perfect. I know my top three are. What I have at number 5, which used to be my number 1, is From the Inside from 1978. This has, the title track is fantastic, From the Inside. The Quiet Room, as a gut wrencher of a song. Sirius is fantastic. For Veronica's Sake. I love For Veronica's Sake. Inmates, We're All Crazy, another one that I love. I started out by saying this was perfect, and then I walked it back because I remembered at the last minute that it's got Millie and Billy. I hate Millie and Billy. I skip Millie and Billy. So if we've got a skipper, it can't be perfect. If I could take Millie and Billy out, this is perfect. Ooh, I like the way he's looking up at the... Yeah. Ooh, creepy. But this is a great album. I love From the Inside. I would love to have seen this tour. I think it would have been fantastic. Coming in at number 3. Okay, this is perfect. From here on out, we're in perfect land. We're in perfect album land. We've got from 1973, the Alice Cooper Band's $1 Billion Babies. Man, do I love this album. I hands down, I think this is the best Alice Cooper Band album that they recorded. There are a lot of folks who would say, no, that was Killer, or maybe even School's Out, or maybe Love It to Death, or maybe even Pretty's for You. I mean, you get a lot of different people, get a lot of different impressions, a lot of different opinions for the Alice Cooper Band albums. This was I'm pretty sure it was their most successful album as a band. And I love this album and have always loved it. We've got strong songs on here are Hello, Hooray, Elected, the title track, $1 Billion Babies, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Generation Landslide, which may be my favorite overall Alice Cooper track. Strong album. Love this album. Even the stuff that most people hate, like Mary Ann, I love. Perfect album. Perfect album number 2 is also my number 2 in my top 10, and that is 1976's Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. I used to have this on vinyl, and I was getting ready to do this video, and I'm scrabbling through my vinyl back there, and I couldn't find it anywhere, so evidently I got rid of it. I've got like 2 copies of it on CD, so, there you go. I love this album. One of the things I really like about Alice is, solo Alice especially, is his ability to maintain a concept, a theme throughout an entire album, and this is fantastic. This and From the Inside are 2 of my favorite concept albums of all time. They're wonderfully theatrical. I can see the movie playing out in my head as I'm listening to the songs. I love it. I love Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. The fantastic songs on here, my favorite songs on here are Go to Hell, I'm the Coolest, Didn't We Meet, Give the Kid a Break. Give the Kid a Break. Great stuff. Love Alice Cooper Goes to Hell. It's my number 2. But my number 1, I think the best Alice Cooper album, it's one of his solo albums, and it is 1980's Flush the Fashion. Oh, there we go. Get it in the shot. I love this album. This is the first album that was new when I was an Alice Cooper fan. Okay, I started listening to Alice Cooper right here in the span between From the Inside and Flush the Fashion. And so From the Inside back, I'm visiting as, like archived history stuff. From the Flush the Fashion forward, I bought them as they came out, right? So that's part of the reason I think why I've got it ranked as high as I do. I also have it ranked as high as I do because I think it's just a fantastic pop album. This is a really good power pop album, and I love really good power pop. So I love this album. The strong songs are Clones, We're All, which was a minor radio hit, Leather Boots, which I love, Aspirin Damage, Model Citizen, and my favorite song on the thing, Headlines. God, do I love that song. Flush the Fashion is a fantastic album. Easily, the easiest decision I had making this top 10 was slotting this thing at number 1. Perfect album. And Alice Cooper's best. So that's how I see Alice Cooper's album, or those are my top 10, I should say. Thanks to our unofficial sponsor, Schofferhofer. That's good beer. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Drop that comment down below. Let me know. I always love hearing from you. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you'd click the like button. And while you're down there, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It's free. If you do subscribe, click the bell for notifications. That would be nice. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that the rest of your day is uneventful. See you soon.